I was born Michelangelo Merisi in Caravaggio, but maybe not there. It makes no difference. I was born, and there is no excuse for that. I will have to pay for this. Caravaggio, Lombardia Province, Bergamo County. Makes no difference. My father, Master Builder Fermo Medici, my father is the was. For me, the was always. The past tense. The past tense is the color blue. More precisely, sky blue. God dwells in this color. The past tense. I became a painter. I was raped several times as a child. Childhood was invented precisely for this, for being raped. They said, for example, that there is such a thing as the soul. That a human being has a soul, but that's not true. He doesn't. At least they could never prove it to me. I don't deny the existence of the soul at all. A horse surely has a soul. I saw a horse that shone with the glory of God's light. However, the existence of the soul must be proven somehow. The soul is not that which exists, but that which must be proven. There it is, and suddenly it's not. Nothing, no soul trace, for a long time. The light that is given to man by God. That's it. Thomas Aquinas. A light which I've never found. My father lay on the cold stones of the cellar. The plague took him. My father, my grandfather, my grandmother, my uncle, there's not much to it, let's stay with my father. He lay before me a single candle by his head, and I decided that I would search for the light given to man by God. No, I did not doubt the existence of the hereafter. I did not believe in the world here below. 3 things necessary for men to be saved: knowledge of what is to be believed, knowledge of what is to be desired, and knowledge of what is to be done. Thomas Aquinas. Michelangelo Merisi da Caravaggio. Painter. I dedicated my entire life to proving the existence of the soul. Not the immortality of the soul, because if the soul exists, then it is obviously immortal. And if it does not exist, then it is neither mortal nor immortal, that is obvious. My father lay on the cold stones of the cellar, naked as a dead Christ. Michelangelo Merisi. To give me a name like this, Michelangelo, and then to send me off to become a painter. Me, who've never been interested in painting nor gold. And the painter who is neither interested in painting nor money should instead have become a monk, or an angel imitator, and taken a vow of silence for his entire life, and the afterlife too. A complete misunderstanding. This was my father, Fermo Medici's wish. The plague took him. The plague is not prejudiced. It's not true that my father was taken by the plague. My mother said so, Lucia Ardatori, that he was taken, that the plague took him. I wasn't taken. No. He lay on the cool stones of the cellar, and it just killed him. It squeezed the soul out of him. Took less than 4 days, and it strangled my grandfather and my grandmother along with him, and my father's brother. None of them were taken. They were left to us, the bodies I mean, because the plague didn't need them. because they were not them, but some lifeless material, my mother said. My mother, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. I still see her. I see her all the time. I see her always, my mother. My mother didn't want me to see the bodies. To no avail. Dark, blue corpses. They lay peacefully, very alike on the cool stones of the cellar. A single candlelight, even that was too much. Blue bubonic plague. Very beautiful. Horror of horrors.
Michelangelo Medici. I was born in Caravaggio, Lombardia province. Caravaggio. 25 degrees, 29 minutes, 52 seconds north latitude. 9 degrees, 38 minutes, 35 seconds east longitude. It has no seaside, so we had to leave. If there is no seaside, one must depart. Take everything and never return. I don't remember my first love. It wasn't first love, after all. Love conquers all. Love does not conquer all. Hell no. I had foreseen the catastrophe from the very beginning, but I could not prevent it. And in fact, the catastrophe came about much too soon for me to be able to recognize it. Not the plague. I'm not talking about that. The plague was conquered by Bishop Carlo in Milano. Bishop Carlo knew precisely how to conquer the plague. He stripped to his skin, put on a cloak of sackcloth, and marched barefooted with a big wooden cross on his shoulders, from the gate of the dome to the Basilica of Sant'Ambrogio, famous for having an ancient Roman sarcophagus in place of the pulpit. In the forefront, naked monks flogged themselves. The naked, dry bodies of the monks were followed by altar boys. The black and white crowd of little angels of death came after with their censer. Then Bishop Carlo. And finally, at a safe distance, the great multitude, the whole of Milano. Marching. Silence. The slapping of whips on naked backs. Bishop Carlo's abundantly bleeding, mud-stained feet. Real blood. Real silence. When he arrived, the harrowed bishop climbed up into the pulpit of the Basilica of Sant'Ambrogio and said, "The plague lives in your hearts and breaks forth from there in secret. But I will chase the plague out from your hearts, and I will place it here in this sarcophagus so that it can never get out." He chased out the plague from our hearts. This is how Bishop Carlo conquered the plague. A naked bishop. A comforting spectacle. For me, at least, it's as good as an evidence for God. The existence of the soul, however, still has to be proven.